7:09, Architectural Preservation District Commission has a quorum. We're starting the meeting. I'm going to read the draft script for remotely conducted open meetings. Hey, Laura, do me a favor and print out a copy of my agenda, please,
For what?
for this meeting.
You have, it's right over there.
Yes, but it's not. So put that. As a preliminary matter, this is Richard McGrath, Chair of the Architectural Preservation District Commission. I will do a roll call to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. State your name. Cullen Dwyer.
Cullen Dwyer here. I can hear you.
Brian Cochran.
Brian Corcoran is here. I can hear you as well, Richard.
Good evening. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel, and this meeting of the APDC is being conducted remotely. Town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Mass Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread, and all town facilities are only open by appointment only at this time. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 3820, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. The order, which you can find posted on the town website on the COVID-19 information center page, access through the town manager's web page, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment for this meeting of the APDC is convening by Zoom conference, video conference via Zoom, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our meeting, our business, and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Richard McGrath, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. Blah, blah, blah. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Members have reviewed the minutes, and Mr. Cochran has made a motion. Will you make a motion to accept?
Yes, Mr. Corcoran makes a motion to accept minutes as written.
Thank you, Mr. Corcoran. I'll second that motion.
Cullen Dwyer seconds the motion to accept the minutes as recorded. All in favor, Cullen Dwyer.
Cullen Dwyer says aye.
Brian Cochran.
Brian Corcoran says aye as well.
Richard McGrath says aye. The minutes of the April 2021 meeting are accepted as presented. There is no public for public comment. Correspondence. No correspondence.
Oh.
Any new business? No new business. Old business. We're were the commissioners working on any particular projects that they wanted to report on?
I'm sorry, Mr. McGrath, is this for the annual town report or for? or is this-
No, just our personal, the work we've been doing. You had stated that you were working on the primary school National Register nomination.
Yes, I was working on that. And I haven't made much progress since the last meeting on that. But I do intend to submit that, get it as complete as I can and submit it shortly.
Okay, and that building is, we'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
I think Anthony was working on, understanding grants and ways to finance restoration or construction on old town buildings. Town meeting review. I went to the town meeting and spoke on the warrant 24, which was to allow the select board to overrule the APDC ruling on any town building, which passed. So we no longer have the, CTA still has to come to us, and if the select board doesn't agree with our decision on the alteration of any town building in the district that falls under our jurisdiction, they can vote to override us.
Just a clarification, they can present the matter to the town at the next town meeting.
Yes,
They-
thank
yeah,
you.
so they'll need the vote of town meeting to override it.
There was a lot of discussion about, well, if the town can have that power, then why not each individual homeowner in the district, that it wasn't fair to have government have that ability, but the people that own houses in the district don't have that ability. That led to a wide discussion. Along those lines, there was an amendment offered and voted on to allow individual in the district to have that same ability as the town to take it to town meeting to overrule an APDC decision on their property, but that was voted down. The select board had made it clear that the having that ability to take the decision of the APDC to town meeting was purely for the intention of facilitating and doing their work in managing town buildings. Whereas a homeowner, I mean, they'd be facilitating their own homes, and essentially it'd be gutting the APDC law, the APD law, bylaw, if the homeowners in general had the ability to take their grievance with us to the town meeting and override our decisions.
Yes.
It would open it. I mean, any business person that wanted to develop a property in town and turned it into a McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or any such thing as that, whatever decision we made to protect the property according to the bylaw could be overridden. So fortunately, for the district at this time, that's not going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that again in the future. We were accused of threatening the select board by one of the members of the finance committee. Uh, um, I would consult with both of you if that has ever happened. I don't know if I've spoken too strongly at any point, or if any of us have made comments that had threatened the select board. They didn't say anything about it when it was brought up. So and I made it clear after that comment was made at town meeting that we never, if they got the impression that we did threaten them, that was not our intention. And I apologize if they ever got that intention, but none of them had said anything to me about it.
No, I don't know what they're talking about, and
Right.
we'll just have to assume it was merely a comment and not a substantial matter at town meeting.
Oh, can I say something?
No, not at this point. If you want, you can whisper in my ear, but
When you apologize, Tom and I,
Tom Alonso at the meeting said that there was no communication to them of any threat. So, but it did concern me that I think there's still a lot of misinformation about the APDC and what it is. And I think we have to work harder on informing the public that it's about preserving the community. It's not a threat to the community. It's preserving the community against the threat of losing its character because of the village bylaw, which opened it up to business interests. So it was quite a lengthy meeting. I had to get up and defend us and speak to a number of comments and misinformation, at least 6-7 times. The moderator was chastised me once for getting up too much. I told him, I said, people are saying things, I have to straighten it out, and what they were saying wasn't accurate.
I think it's worth, if we're doing a follow-up on the town meeting, it's worth noting also that I believe there was article, I think it was 22 approved, what was it, $20,000 or $30,000 to do a site plan study for a open green space on the primary school property. Is that right?
That's correct. I think it was $30,000. There was quite a bit of support for that move. But I'm going to bring this up with the selectmen too. There was and Miss Lizio had commented on this at our last meeting about, and I think this is what she was saying, that having a non-binding referendum at a town meeting is not a mandate to set policy. It's just an opinion. If you were going to set policy on a situation like the primary school, wanted to find out what the town wanted to do with it, you would send out a survey to all the taxpayers in town and find out, do you want to tear it down? Do you want to make a park? Do you want to restore it? Do you want to turn it into elderly housing? Giving the options and seeing what the consensus of the town is. At town meeting, there's only a small, tiny fraction of the taxpayers in town that are there. So getting that opinion, it can really send you off on in the wrong direction. If you want to get a true survey of what the feeling is in town for something like that.
Richard, it's Brian. It reminds me of when this all came about, having the Architectural Preservation District and having a committee. When we all met over at the library, there was, I'm going to say, probably 60 to 80 people over there. And it was unanimous that they wanted something to preserve the old buildings. I don't know what's changed. Again, like you say, I think that was put in the paper, it was broadcast, and people came over and they listened and they spoke, right? That's something they wanted.
Yes, yeah, there are hearings and,
Yeah, as you said, Cullen Dwyer, as you said, Richard, it's just a very small fraction of the population that attends town meeting. And we can't assume that everybody who attends town meeting is interested or educated on the topic. So I think we, besides just shedding our thuggish image, we need to also work on publicizing these issues and gathering support for them, and making sure that people who do support our work are participating and active, because I don't feel like we have a lot of people on our side right now.
no, yeah, and I mentioned that at a town meeting. I told the select board that I felt like we were being steamrolled, that it seemed pretty obvious that this warrant was on there so that they could move forward with their agenda
Right.
in disregarding what we had to do.
Yeah.
And the APD bylaw, under the purpose, it says for preserving, restoring, and protecting groups of historically and or architecturally significant buildings and the characteristics of their neighborhoods that are important to the town's architectural, cultural, economic, political, and or social history. Fostering wider public knowledge and appreciation of such neighborhoods and contributing properties. Limiting the detrimental effect of alterations, including demolitions. The primary schools, as well as the Brooks House, the Ritter Building, and the Town Hall are all contributing properties, not only they're in the National Historic District, they're the center of the town, and they're in the Architectural Preservation District. There's, according to what we have to follow in this bylaw, there's no way in the present condition of that building that we would be able to vote. I don't know how you would vote, but if we follow this bylaw, there's no way that we could justify voting to tear that building down. And I think they're reading the bylaw and saying, and seeing that, and we're kind of we're an impediment to what they wanted to do with that.
Yeah.
Although everything still has to be voted on, there's a ways to go with that.
Yes.
A lot of these buildings have been vacant in different towns have been vacant for 20, 30 years or more, and then end up being restored. Any other comments on town meeting?
Just Cullen Dwyer here, just concerning that there seems to be so much momentum behind that project for new construction on the TC Paseo site. I thought it was very ironic that everybody stood up and said it was a bad idea, and then they voted for it. So obviously they put a lot of work into it, and yeah, it has a lot of momentum behind it, and I think it's really it's definitely, that's our historic center. I think if that goes up, the Ritter Town Hall, all the town owned historic buildings, I think will probably follow the same route that Old Primary is going right now. So
yeah, we're gonna try to get ahead of the ball. I think we're way behind with it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Doing research, what other towns are doing, and the ins and outs of everything to
Richard and Cullen, just a question regarding putting the Old Primary on the National Historic Register. I thought that the board select said that we need to get their permission in order to do that. Do you know if that is true?
Yes, that's true because the town owns the building, so the owner of the buildings has to approve that. So we do the legwork and get all the information and paperwork done and then bring it before them.
Okay, well,
I'm not-
I'll be to get that done soon.
Yeah, and then it takes a while to go. It has to go to Mass Historic and then the Department of the Interior. So it takes a while to.
I mean, based on how things went at the town meeting and them wanting to tear that down, you can only imagine what their answer is going to be when you say you want to put it on the National Historic Register.
Yeah, and they're obviously not disposed to do so, but I think we might be able to put some pressure on them because I think that, that's obviously, they would obviously be acting in a highly partisan way to deny us that permission.
Mm,
And it's not even, it doesn't even offer any protection. It certainly doesn't offer as much protection as the APDC offers that building. So
Right.
I guess there's no stake in it except that it might look bad. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it wouldn't stop them from tearing it down, but it would put into place. It wouldn't financial opportunities if the direction of that building changed. And the select board or the population of the town wanted to do something else with it, it would be helpful in that way. So
Yeah.
I think the purpose that we go forward with it is to go forward with the National Register in order to provide an opportunity if that building ever gets developed.
Right.
Somebody has that resource. Primary school, any other discussion of the primary school? I have one, I spoke on the condition of that building as not being bad at all. I've seen and worked on a lot worse buildings that were restored and continued to be used. On the town hall, the big windstorm we had a couple weeks ago, the chimney blew over on the south side of the building. I had spoken with the building inspector, Mike Savage, or whenever he was in quite a few years ago about that chimney, that it was in danger of collapsing and needed to be restored, rebuilt. He went to the town and told them about it, and he reported back to me and said that they didn't want to do anything with it at this time.
Yeah.
They were lucky there was nobody driving under there or walking under there at that point because it fell in the driveway between there and the variety store. At the primary school, we had the same situation on our first walk through there with the historical commission. When we went through the building, on the outside of the building, on the west side, the parapet wall had flashing on it that was coming off. And over the past 2.5 years, I think, 2.5, 3 years since we first went there, we've been reviewing that regularly. And over a year ago, that we noted that flashing was on the ground and the brick wall was exposed. And I noted at that time that the bricks were loose on top of there. When we went to the select board, we had mentioned that, as well as the roof repairs and gutters being of importance to be fixed. And they chose not to do that. My last inspection there a few weeks back, that's still in the same condition, and the bricks at the top of that wall are still loose. I mean, that the same situation can happen. So it creates, I mean, it's an insurance covers it, but that ends up being a lawsuit.
Yeah.
a lot of people get hit by falling bricks. When I used to work in Boston, I tell my family and friends if I heard they were going to Boston for the day, make sure you walk along the curb next to the street. Don't walk against the buildings because bricks fall down. Everything, most things have been restored since then, so it's not the same situation as it was 20 years ago. But there were a lot of reports of people getting hit by bricks and seriously damaged.
I think it was just in the news today, I saw in Fall River where some bricks fell off a building. I think 2 people got injured and one was in critical condition
And when was that?
in Fall River, Mass.
When?
I thought I saw it in a news headline today.
Oh.
It's either today or yesterday, one of the two.
I'll have to Google that. My intention is to go to make a presentation again in front of the select board about the primary school. I think we have to keep bringing it up every so often that the building is in demolition by neglect in violation of the town bylaw, which it's been for 2.5, 3 years now. And that's our job, right? It's in the,
That's right.
Yes.
it's under the purpose of the APD.
I guess the only other issue I have to talk about with Old Primary is just, I was wondering if any of you are aware of, is there a design committee for this new project for the green space?
Not that I know of. There's the select board was handling it. Katie Adams had gone to the Monty Tech and had the kids there come up with a rough plan of an amphitheater and what it would look like with the well, the building was still on the plan, but with the
Yeah, that didn't seem to go over too well.
no. But at this point, I think they were just handling, I think the 30,000 was, might include some of the, having a company come up with a plan for it.
Right. I'm assuming there's somebody telling that company kind of what they want though. My point is that I wonder if we could get involved with that. And that might be the path of least resistance for us right now on the Old Primary, is not to try to stop the green space from going forward, but try to influence what direction that goes and try to convince them to retain the building as part of the green space.
Yep. It's a good idea.
Okay, well, to that end, it seems like I'll contact Katie Adams and see what she has to say about that.
She's no longer on the select board. She was voted out at last meeting and Lou Franco was voted in.
Okay.
Well, not that she was voted out. Lou Franco was won the election.
Okay.
Right.
I'll be sure to contact. I expect she is still involved with the issue though, so she might still have some insight.
Yeah, yeah. And Lou Franco said he was one of his main concerns in working on the select board was to facilitate the new uses for public buildings as well as retaining the character of the town. He mentioned the Ritter Building and the town hall and thought that they should be retained by the town, not sold to private developers. He did not mention the primary school. I don't think he mentioned Brooks House.
Yeah.
No.
I think those are the two that we need to be concerned with the most.
The most right now, yes.
Yeah, media. Yeah.
Any comments on the Brooks House? I think we got to get ahead of that one somehow. I had the I asked Bill Laxo on the Historical Commission to write an article, which he had published in the Ledger and the Fitchburg Sentinel on the Brooks House to bring more public awareness of that building. But I think we need to think of ways to publicize these buildings more and bring them to the public's awareness that they exist and what they could be used for and what other communities have done with such. I mean, other communities have done, they've used CPA money to restore buildings like this, small one-room schoolhouses or small buildings like the Brooks House, and as well as a number of buildings. It's just a tremendous amount of buildings like the primary school that have been reused for housing. One of the big issues in the state is not enough housing for the elderly, for veterans, for affordable housing. So to take buildings down like that when they could be used for housing is it's just not a good idea. As well as we're a green community, the energy it takes to take all those, the energy it took to build those buildings as good as they are, and for the materials to be made, and then to use all the energy to take that down and then do something else with it, or take them to the dump it's contrary to what green means.
Right, I agree.
Any other
On the-
com- Yeah,
Richard, it's Brian. I guess on the Brooks House, I think, the last we were talking about that, we were looking to see if there was a way to divide that out and maybe sell it as a primary residence. I don't know if there's any luck with that. I mean, the housing market's real hot right now. I would think that if that could be divided out somehow and sold off, it would probably go fairly quickly.
Yeah, it was just a issue of dividing off the lot and making sure that it had sufficient setbacks, and access and parking were an issue. I know
Right.
it currently doesn't have really either. It's only accessible from town property. So the planning board had a cooperative attitude towards it, but since then I think they just haven't come up with any solutions or thought about it much. So I think we just need to keep on the planning board. Maybe we should try to schedule another joint meeting.
yeah, I'll check and see what when their meetings are, and then I'll contact you and see what works with our schedule to attend, and then I'll schedule a meeting with them. Or I'll schedule time when we can attend their meeting and discuss this.
Sounds good.
Any other comments on that?
Nope.
Other endangered contributing properties. The Methodist Church continues, steeple is still deteriorating. Last time I drove by there. We sent them letters in the past. I don't know if there's much else that we can do there. Should be something we can say.
While I was on the historical commission, we just sent them letters congratulating them and thanking them for restoring the rest of the building. So
Yeah.
So hopefully the owners, we have a good relationship with them. We can certainly just send them a letter, and if you'd like, I can draft a letter to
that would be
urge them
great.
to restore the steeple.
That would be great. If we could find a, get a postcard, I might have one someplace. And send that to them too. of what it really looks like and how beautiful it is. It might get them excited, although money's always a factor, and the higher you go up, the more it costs to do things.
Yeah.
I'll check my postcard collection and I thought I had one of those, or I'll see if I can get something from the picture from the Historical Society.
Okay.
You can put that in with your letter.
Okay.
The property at the corner of Whiting Street?
Yes,
White and Whiting and Lancaster. I got up on the roof there and replaced quite a few missing shingles. They're just falling out left and right. I did the best I could. She didn't have any green shingles. I had to go in find my way in the garage. I couldn't get in. I had to go through some rotten boards in the back of the garage and found some black shingles. So I put black ones on, keep the roof dry, but that whole roof is really cooked. The shingles are all breaking and crumbling and buckling and splitting. She seems to be doing well, though. I spoke with the owner and told her if there's anything she needed that she could call me on the house or anything else. She says she's good. She's getting care there. So she said that she was offered an apartment at Elderly Housing, but it was on the second floor, and I didn't get into it with her, but for some reason that wasn't good for her, so she had to pass. She's waiting for a first floor apartment.
Okay.
So that house, it's like the primary school. It looks bad, and it's slowly demoed by neglect, but it's not going anyplace.
right.
We just want to hope she sells it to somebody that doesn't want to tear it down and build a new house there that really would love the house like that and restore
Right.
it. I was thinking of stopping by and talking about with her and asking her if when the time comes and she wants to sell it, if she would give it, seriously think about giving it a priority to somebody that would want to restore it rather than somebody to develop it.
Yeah.
One other property in town, Amory Phelps, received an offer out of the blue on her house. Somebody just wanted to buy it and live there. It wasn't for sale. And she said yes and took the opportunity and moved to Georgia.
Ah,
But when she sold it, she interviewed the person and made sure that they were going to keep the house just like it was and not alter it and take care of it historically. And they said definitely. They were just going to, they wanted to build a garage there. So that'll be coming to us at some point.
okay.
That's nice. Hey, Marie did a nice job in that place, so yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Somebody keeps it up, that'd be great.
Yep. Any other business? Okay, so goes our meeting. Motion to adjourn.
Next meeting is
Oh, sorry, meeting schedule, Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021.
23rd. Will we be meeting in person or will that be another remote meeting?
Right now, it's remote.
Okay.
We have remote meetings scheduled to, I think, September or October.
Wow.
I scheduled everything ahead. But that could change at any minute. The state's opening up this weekend, so
Yeah.
We'll see in a month if everything goes well. Maybe they'll go back to regular meetings.
Okay.
And then we can drink beer. We'll invite Brian over for.
You'll come to that meeting, Brian.
There you go. I'll be the public at that
Yeah,
point.
public comment. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, thank you very much, Brian. It's been great working with you.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Really has been good. Now it's you two originals that are left. That's it.
Yeah.
And-
two
And then
originals.
Tony. So
Yeah,
if things slow down for me and I can get back into it again, I will definitely let you know. And if there's something you need or some volunteer work, and I can help out somehow, let me know as well. So,
yeah, great. Thank you for being a resource. You're
Yeah.
a good one.
Still feel part of the APDC family, so
We're always
Oh,
happy.
yeah.
you know,
You're just across the street.
that's it.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
All right, I'll make a motion.
Colin
I'll
Dwyer makes the
second.
motion. Brian Cochran seconds it. All in favor adjournment, Colin Dwyer.
Colin Dwyer says aye.
Brian Cochran.
Brian Corcoran says aye.
Richard McGrath says aye. The meeting is adjourned.
Richard, real quick, I'll rate these up and I'll send them over to you and Colin, okay?
Thanks.
All right,
Appreciate it.
take care, guys.
Brian, are you sending
Yep.
those into the clerk?
I'll send them to you. If you want, I can send them to, who is it, what I'll send them to?
Kathy Herrick?
Kathy Herrick, okay.
Yep. Yep, send them in and then they're complete.
Okay, sounds good.
Meeting's adjourned 7:50.
Sounds good, guys.
All right. Thanks,
See you
Jen.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Take care. Bye.